Good morning once again. So, today we've got lesson 3.6, which is all about water conservation and water shortages. So, we know from our previous units that 97% of the world's waters are going to be found in the oceans, which makes it salt water. So, that 3% that is left as fresh water becomes very important. And even a smaller amount of that is actually water that we can drink, or potable water. So we have to think a lot about how we're going to conserve water, how are we going to make it clean, and how are we going to work with that based on the needs that we have as humankind. So one way that we try to increase those numbers is through desalination or taking the salt out. So desalinizing means that we're removing the salt from salt water. In order to do that, we're going to take back some concepts from the water cycle. So we're going to take our water as it stands here, filled with salt, filled with sugar, filled with whatever it is, and we're going to boil it. What happens when that water evaporates is we're going to have something that catches all of the evaporation and makes it run off to the sides, much like we saw on the inside of the earth with the magma running off the sides. We're going to catch that water, it's going to condense on this plate, and it's going to run off into a different container that's going to catch and hold it. So we go from salt water to pure water vapor as a gas, pure water condensation, and then it's going to run off into our container. The problem is that it takes so much heat to boil this water and to condense it, store it, that oftentimes it's not as efficient to do this as it is to buy bottled water or do things the other way. So we find that desalination needs a lot of improvement, but it's still an effective way for us to get clean water. The next way is basically moving around clean water. So taking glacial frozen water that's pure and towing it through the ocean, or towing it, in a portable freezer, more or less, from one place to another. However, this is very expensive, and we have so many problems keeping those glaciers from melting that oftentimes we lose so much water in transportation that it doesn't end up being worth the cost. And finally, what's happening a lot in Alaska right now is they're actually taking clean water from Alaska, bottling it, or putting it in barrels and transporting it to other parts of the country, especially those in underdeveloped areas. Regardless, what we're finding out is that we're looking for more and more ways to get clean water to the places that it needs to go to. What we see is that as populations in an area increase, whether it's a developed or an undeveloped country, is that people go up, health goes down, and with that goes water quality down as well, which makes the health worse, which makes the population fluctuate, and we run into a lot of problems. Now, the whole goal here is to get clean water, like I said. But as you know, the more people that we have, the more wastewater we're going to have as well. So oftentimes what also happens is that we're going to take our wastewater, so that could be from the bathroom, from our dishwashers, from our laundry machines, and we're going to try and purify that. The first thing we do is we take that water and we push it through a fine filter to remove all the big chunks. And then we push it through another filter that's a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller. So each time we're getting rid of more solid things. After that, it's going to be treated chemically, so with chlorine, with other gases, with iodides. They're going to pull out a lot of the chemical toxins. And through this process, what we do is we take dirty water, wastewater, sewage, we clean it, purify it, and are able to recirculate it into the water cycle, like into oceans, rivers, ponds, lakes, streams, etc. Now, as we move forward with our project, we really need to understand the consequences politically, socially, and economically of this process. Is it very expensive? How does it help people? And what are the laws and regulations that go along with it that prevent us from being able to safely, cleanly, efficiently get water to everyone that needs it?